The surprising Penguins come to town. The San Jose Sharks get their first win of the season.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do, just follow along wherever you get podcasts. Of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Continue with our game day previews. Spend about 10 minutes kind of getting ready for tonight's game. These are YouTube exclusive, only on YouTube. So we dive into kind of the numbers between the two teams, look at where kind of get to know the Penguins a little bit better, look at projected lines and for both teams here. With the Sharks, this is since they're coming on the second night of a back-to-back, not going to have any morning skates. We don't know what the lines are going to look like. So I'm also recording this on Friday night. So if there's any transactions that happen, any call-ups, et cetera, sorry, got a soccer tournament I got to drive to on Saturday. I wasn't going to have a chance to record it during the day. So let's get started looking at how these two teams match up here to start the season. Penguins are 3-2-0. Your San Jose Sharks, of course, 0-2-2, the last team in the NHL, still looking for their first win. Penguins offense, 3 goals a game, 14th in the NHL. Defense, 3 goals allowed, 15th in the NHL. Power play clicking at 10th in the NHL, 23.1%. That's a pretty solid number there for the Penguins. PK at 76.5%, 19th. Your Sharks, 12th best offense at 3.25. The worst when it comes to giving up goals at 5.5 goals per game. Power play operating at 31.3%, third in the NHL. And the PK at 73.3, 23rd. Brazeau leads the Penguins in goals with 4. Malkin leads the team in assists with 6 and points with 7. Skinner leads the Sharks with 3 goals. Celebrini with 4 assists and 5 points. Looking at how this Penguins team has performed last year, this is one of the worst teams in the NHL last year. And they have played better this year, but there's still some we'll get to that here in a second. But last year, this team struggled offensively. They scored probably a little bit more goals than they should have expected when it came to like chances and creating attempts. They were kind of a little bit better there, just kind of creating offense. This team really kind of struggled last season. Defensively, they were a mess. And like this was one of the worst teams in the NHL, right? And of course, they fired their head coach. They have a new head coach now, and like you're seeing a better team this year. I think the goaltending's kind of helped them out a little bit, and I think also their schedules really kind of helped them out here to kind of begin the year. While again, the Penguins have been playing better, they've also had a really soft schedule. I think we'll say. First game, they played the Rangers, who we know the Rangers have been struggling at home to start the season. I think they have 2 or 3 games where they just haven't scored a goal at home. They played an Islanders team who is, a bad team and has also been struggling to start the season. They lost at home to the Rangers. Now they're starting this West Coast trip. They lost to the Ducks. And then Thursday, they did beat this Kings team, but this Kings team has also kind of struggled out of the gate right now. So while the Penguins are kind of racking up some wins here, they haven't really had like a good signature win. So that's why I do feel like this game is winnable for the Sharks. So we'll get to that here a little bit in a second. But looking at the lines for the Penguins, Raquel, Crosby, Rust, Mantha, Malkin, Brazeau, Novak, Kindle's a rookie, and then Hollander, Dewar, Lizotte, and Akiri, Shea, Letang, Wotherspoon, old friend Carlson, Jones, Brunick, and then Silios and Yari are the goalies there. So I'm trying to pull up who played for them, who started on Thursday, but Silvio's started on Thursday, so hopefully we get Yari. Fingers crossed that we get Yari there for the Penguins. So, but this second line of Mantha, Malkin, Brazeau has really been kind of leading the way for them, right? You see all the points that the Malkin and Brazeau have kind of racked up. I know from the Locked On Penguins guy, I know Letang hasn't had a great start to the season here. So that's just something to kind of keep an eye on there with him. For the San Jose Sharks, this is how they lined up on Friday's game with Skinner, Celebrini, Khrushchev, Eklund, Wenberg, Toffoli, Graf, Delandria, Smith, Gaudreau, Gaudette, Reeves. We know we're expecting Michael Misa to draw in, and presumably into the third line. So we'll see who kind of gets sat there. Whether if I had to pick, it's probably Graf. Maybe like that's kind of who I'm kind of leaning towards. Is probably going to be Graf. That whole third line didn't have a great game, and we know Warsofsky kind of called them out. They got benched for a little bit, so anybody on that, like, you could make a case for. I think Smith's probably the safest out of them because again, he's also on the power play one. The power play's been clicking. Defensively, Orlov, Leddy, Ferraro, Iorio, and then Dickinson, Desharnais. We'll see if the Sharks make any call-ups. They would have to presumably put someone on IR, whether that's Mukhamadullin or Klingberg. You could potentially put Mukhamadullin on IR retroactive for a few days since he got injured in practice. But we'll see if they make a move there to potentially call up a defenseman to kind of help them out there. Then Askarov and Nedeljkovic are both, or Nedeljkovic will be starting after Askarov played on Friday against the Utah Mammoth. So what to watch for in this game? As well as the Penguins have started out, I do think, like I said, that going through their schedule, right, they've gotten a really soft schedule compared to the Sharks, who've played, Vegas. They've played the Hurricanes. They played that same Ducks team, right, between the two teams, and then you played a Mammoth team that's, looks to be, potentially fighting for a while or a playoff spot this year. So the Sharks have had a much tougher schedule, I think, than the Penguins have out of the gate. So, but I want to see how this team responds, right? We've seen like they'll either start the periods well and fall off, or like Friday's game, they start poorly and then they kind of have to get themselves into the game. Usually on these back-to-backs, the team on the back-to-back typically starts faster because they already kind of have their legs going under them. So I think this is the game where if the kind of keys to victory for this is you have to start fast, right? You have to start fast, especially against a defensive group that has had some issues here. And we know Tristan Jarry also has had some issues as well. So I think a fast start and play like you did in the second period against the Mammoth, right? Where you saw the forecheck, you saw an active team. I think that is huge. So that's one of the things to watch for. Of course, Misa, Dickinson, if both of them are in the lineup, right? How are they utilized? Or is it going to continue to be very sheltered? Do we see, especially with a banged up defensive group, does Dickinson maybe earn a little bit more opportunities, maybe get some time on the power play, whatever it is? How does this unit, how does Warsofsky continue to kind of handle these young guys? I think the Sharks need to win the special teams, right? Sharks power play has been off to a scorching start this season, and both PKs have been kind of below average here. So if the Sharks can win the special teams battle, get to a hot start, I think they can get this first win. I know a lot of people already looking at the schedule going for October again. I think this is a prime opportunity for the Sharks to kind of try to get up early here and see if you can kind of maybe right some of the wrongs that we've seen early in the season with some of the, goalie gaffes and some of the blowing leads, et cetera, et cetera. And I think Nedeljkovic is determined to have a massive game against his old team. So I'm gonna call it. I think the Sharks win. I do think the Sharks win. I think it kind of everyone can chill out after this weekend, especially if the Sharks can win this game here. I still think this Penguins team is not a good team. Again, I know they're off to a good start. I still think this Penguins team is one of the one of the worst teams in the NHL. And I think this is an opportunity for the Sharks to get their first win. So hopefully I'm going to try my best to do a post game. Probably going to be another hotel room post game. Soccer tournaments are fun. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until later tonight. Bye, friends.